What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. I really appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You guys are awesome. This game was just completely inexcusable. I mean, look, this game, the Lakers had every opportunity to win. What was that energy in overtime, right? And this is the problem when we're playing catch up. We start the game off terrible, and then we end up having to play an overtime game, and now we have a back-to-back against a young Orlando team, and we just ran out of gas in overtime. Just not rotating. This is a game that we should have won. There's no reason for us to lose this game. No reason for us to lose this game. They got to find ways to do better. Got to find ways to do better. It had its good moments, it had its bad moments, but this just felt like a game that the Lakers let go. You didn't even have De'Aaron Fox. They took him out, not because he fouled it. They literally just took him out, right? And then you got Malik Monk just torching you the entire overtime. It's just inexcusable, completely inexcusable. Taurean Prince came in with 20 points, though. He was hot early on and then just really cooled off there. Then you had LeBron James, 27, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, nearly a triple-double, but he had 8 turnovers. And look, I don't want to get too much on LeBron because LeBron was huge for us, but he took so many ill-advised threes that were just momentum killers throughout the course of this game. He hit a couple late, which was great, but I mean, how many times this game do we see where we got it to like 1 or we got it to like 3 or something like that? And instead of just running a play or putting your head down and getting to the basket, he just takes an ill-advised 3. He had that one stretch where he took back-to-back threes, and they just extended the lead. Got to stop doing that. Got to take care of the ball. Got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. But outside of that, Reeves, we need him to figure it out, man. He is hurting. He is hurting us bad right now. The one knock I will say on Darvin Ham, I know everyone's going to blame Darvin Ham for this game, and it's silly. Again, the players have to play. Darvin Ham is not responsible for LeBron having 8 turnovers, taking ill-advised shots. Austin Reeves going 1 of 12 from the field. Right? Like, we can't have that stuff. But in general, Reeves has got to figure it out, man. But the one knock I have on Darvin Ham is I felt like he played Austin Reeves way too long. I get you want to keep him in the game. I get you want to allow Austin Reeves to kind of try to figure it out. You want to give him an opportunity, right? We saw in the playoffs in the Warriors series. He had like those 2 or 3 games that were terrible, and then he figured it out, right? He was able to get back into the way that we know he can play. But he has really struggled mightily, and that's putting it lightly. He's got to figure this out. He's got to figure this out. Again, this game was. Look, this was a good game, and there was a lot of good from the Lakers. Lakers still not hitting shots. We got to figure that out. But this is a game that we're going to look back and be like, man, we should have, that was a game we should have needed to win. That could be the difference between seeding even. I've seen a lot of people are saying like, oh, they should have played Rui or they should have played Wood or they should have played whatever. That was the unit that got us back into the game. That was the unit. Taurean Prince was fantastic, right? Was shooting very well, right? We needed Gabe Vincent and Taurean Prince for their defense to try to slow down De'Aaron Fox, all of that, right? Like, again, like you could have played Rui. Who do you take out? You take out D'Lo? Okay, well, now you have no other guard play other than or playmaking besides LeBron, right? Like you take out like who? You take out Prince and put in Rui? Who's guarding De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk? Right? Like, again, Darvin Ham had to stick with that rotation. He had to. It's the rotation that got us back into the game. It was the rotation that you stick with to go into overtime. And I just, again, like, I see people saying, like, oh, Christian Wood should have put in Rui. But, again, who do you take out? Who do you take out? You take out Taurean Prince. Then, again, who's guarding De'Aaron Fox? Okay, well, you could put Gabe Vincent on Fox. Okay, well, then who's guarding Malik Monk, who was torching us? Right? Like, it's just you had to keep Taurean Prince because Taurean Prince was guarding Monk, and then you put guys in. But it's guys got to step up. We need guys to step up. It can't just be all LeBron James, all Anthony Davis, right? Like I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of people say this very thing. Gabe, Braun, Rui, Wood, AD, simple. We would have gotten torched worse. Who's guarding Malik? Okay, let's say you put Gabe Vincent on De'Aaron Fox, who Gabe Vincent was struggling defending De'Aaron Fox. Who's guarding Malik Monk? What, you're going to put LeBron on Malik? You're not putting Rui. You're not putting Wood. You're not putting AD. Who defends Malik Monk, who just torched us with Prince and Vincent in the game? Right? Again, it's Darvin Ham made the right decision. Keeping with those guys. Those guys need to play. Hit shots. Stop taking poor shots. They were tiny. Drive into the hoop. Why are we settling for a bunch of threes, especially when we're not hitting them? You know, D'Lo had a great fourth quarter. He really picked it up in the fourth, right? But still, like, get to the basket. Why is AD not touching the basketball when their tallest guy is like 6'6"? Get AD the basketball. Tack the basket. Get aggressive. The refs were giving us a whistle. Like, again, this game was inexcusable. This was an inexcusable game. We got to fix this. We got to get guys playing well, right? It's just guys got to play better. We need guys to step up. We had guys, you know, Rui had a better game. Christian Wood was fantastic. I do wish we would have seen a little more Christian Wood this game. I don't mind the decision from Darvin Ham, what he did in the fourth quarter. That I don't mind at all. But it's, again, Darvin Ham is not the one playing the games. Darvin Ham is not responsible for all the turnovers, all the shot selection, not hitting wide open looks, not rebounding. We were doing great, not giving up offensive rebounds. And then boom, all of a sudden in overtime, they just had more energy. They literally just out-hustled us in overtime. They were going and chasing down loose balls. We were just being all willy-nilly with it. And every time they got an offensive rebound, boom, dagger three. Herter, dude, how come every time a team plays the Lakers, the guy that's been awful, Herter's been unplayable the last two games, and this game he's prime Steph Curry. It's crazy. It's crazy how that worked. But this is a rough game. It was. We got to pick it up, right? Now that I got my little rant over, I got my frustrations out. Got to go get the win in Orlando. Then we play the Clippers. Got to go beat the Clippers. Got to do it. Got to figure that out, right? I'm tired of being tired. I feel it. I feel it. I'm with you. But look, it's one of those things where you got to take these in stride, right? Us fans, I know we're going to be upset. We're going to be freaking out. We're going to be, the sky is falling. But luckily, we're not playing games. The players are. So the players need to take this in stride, take the good with the bad, and we got to get back to going in a better direction. We had stretches. We were great defensively. We had stretches where our offense looked great. We had stretches where we were rebounding great. We had stretches this game where we looked really good on numerous occasions. Got to do a better job of putting it together for an entirety of a game. We got to stop playing from behind. Got it. Like at some point, you got to establish early on and stop playing catch up. Like the Lakers, game in and game out, just keep playing catch up, and that was the problem last year. That was the problem we saw last year. Is you're taking these stretches where you're just completely, you're starting every game like 3 steps behind. And then you finally play catch up and you exerted all of that energy to play catch up. And now you got to go and try to find another gear. And that other team's just kind of been coasted, right? They're just trying to manage the game at that point. And so my hope is that we start to put together full games rather than stretches. Again, the game's 48 minutes. Got to put it together 48 minutes. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they were tiny. Like, why aren't we being aggressive? Attack the basket. Stop settling. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, for all the people that are like, oh, this is Darvin Ham's fault. Darvin Ham is not like he can only do so much. So much. Right? Again, he shouldn't have he stuck with AR way too long. Way too long. AR didn't have it, gotta pull the plug. Gotta take him out that game. Right? He didn't have it, that's fine. Okay? You got a game tomorrow. We'll give you another chance. But it's just, I don't know, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. I understand that's the group that got us back, but I feel like a different look would have threw the Kings off. Monk cooked us in overtime from passes and shots. Yeah, but the problem is, like, again, like, who do you put in? Right? Like, because, okay, who do we take? Okay, here's a better question. Okay, who do we take out? So the 5 was D'Lo, Vincent, Prince, LeBron, and AD, right? We had Prince and Vincent in the game to defend Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, right? Like, if you take any of those out for Rui, then that's just basically just bailing out Fox or Monk, right? And then if you take out, let's say you keep Prince in and you take out, again, it's still the same thing, because now you either have LeBron, Rui, AD, or Wood. If you put one of those guys in, like, I just don't know. Like, I don't think that switching that lineup would have necessarily changed anything. They just, to me, that overtime was won because they just out hustled us. Like, to me, it was that simple. Like, the rebounds killed us in overtime. Exactly. Which is them just out hustled us. They out rebounded us. They were more aggressive. They were smaller, and they, instead of conceding and going, okay, we're smaller, they decided, no, we're going to gain rebound. We're going to chase down every loose ball. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they did. And the Lakers were just lackadaisical. They would have burned us if they added the other lineup. Exactly. That's my point. They would have killed it. Like, we wouldn't even have been in that game. I mean, Malik Monk was already torching us with our 2 best defensive guys on Malik Monk, right? Like, I just, again, like, you put Rui in, it's like, what do you do there? Ham admits he needs to work on his rotation. In his post-game interview, he said that's the main thing on his mind, which is understandable. Look, Darvin Ham said even before the season started that he was going to experiment with lineups. And, I mean, he has. But we do need to get some stability. But, again, at some point, it's got to fall on the players. At some point, it's like the players have to play their game. At some point, guys got to hit shots. Stop turning the ball over. Stop getting out hustled by smaller guys. Like, at some point, the players have to do their job, right? They're paid to do their job. Like, Austin Reeves has been literally unplayable. Like, he's been terrible. D'Lo hasn't been able, like, he's had good moments. He's had good quarters. He hasn't been able to deliver over the course of a game, right? Like, we're literally, like, people are talking about, like, what's going on with our offense. Our offense is fine. We're just not hitting shots. I mean, how many wide open threes did Prince miss? How many wide open threes did D'Lo miss? How many wide open threes did Reeves miss? I mean, Reeves was like, what, 0 of 8 or 1 of 8? Like, it's just, it's tough. It's tough. But all right, let me get into the chat here a little bit. I'm going to try to power through. Damn, there's a lot of you here, which I really appreciate all of you hanging out with me. It's a tough loss. It hurts. Believe me, it hurts. But we'll go through a couple questions here, answer as many as I can, and then we'll skate on out of here and get ready for tomorrow. I guess we can say goodbye to that Braun minute restrictions. Yeah. My concern is that they both don't, like, that they sit LeBron next game. I really hope that they don't against Orlando. But, like, if that's the plan, they're probably going to do it. Which, okay, here's a question. Here's a question. Okay, I feel, and this could go poorly, but I kind of feel like you kind of leave everyone no choice. But hear me out. Hear me out, chat. Hear me out, dude. Okay. I think there is a real argument to be made where tomorrow we just sit LeBron and AD. Now, before you guys jump in the chat and go, what are you talking about, Tyler? You're crazy, you're stupid. We have been terrible besides LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you take them out of the equation, that now forces everyone else to step up or we lose by 50, right? Like, how did D'Lo or how did Reeves emerge, right? You didn't have LeBron and you didn't have AD that one game where he went off and was huge, right? And we ended up winning that game. I think it was against Miami or whatever, right? And that was like Reeves' like awakening party. I think you sit LeBron and you sit AD and Darvin Ham says, get it together. Here you go. Figure it out. I don't want to curse on the stream because then I get demonetized or flagged. But I like personally, and let me know in the chat if you agree. I think that that's what the Lakers should do tomorrow. Sit LeBron, sit AD, run with everyone else, right? You can beat the Orlando Magic without LeBron and AD. Like if we were playing somebody like like a Milwaukee Bucks or something like that, then I would say absolutely not. But Orlando, we can beat Orlando without LeBron and AD. Force everybody to get their stuff together and let's go. Because guys need to figure it out. Guys need to step up. Guys need to start getting in rhythm and playing. And I just think if you go with everybody but LeBron, that now forces guys to step up. Who's going to be those 2 or 3 guys that step up? And now we kind of get everything together. I really do. I think that might be a good idea. I don't think Darvin Ham's going to do that. I think that they might sit LeBron. I think AD plays, but there is a real part of me that's like, just sit them both, or just like Seth said, need to play Bron and AD in the first half. Like maybe do that. Maybe play them in the first half and then just don't play them at all in the second half. I don't know. I just or have them both available. Like here's another thought you could do. So don't start them, right? Let them play the first half without LeBron and AD, and then see how it looks, right? And then if like it's looking rough, then put LeBron and AD in, right? The problem is they're not going to bring LeBron and AD off the bench, but like that's something else. I don't know. I just feel like we need to do something to kind of jumpstart everybody. And because it's not working, like right now, guys they're not showing up. And it's like, what is Darvin Ham supposed to do? Right? Like, again, Taurean Prince shoots the lights out. He sticks with Prince. Prince starts cooling off, and he just couldn't buy a bucket down the stretch. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, we need to do something. Like, you need to do something. So, I don't know. Just a thought. Like I said, maybe not the best idea in the world, but I think we need to get guys figuring stuff out. I agree, Tyler. Force everyone to play. That's kind of my thoughts. Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. It will make everyone step up. That's my thought process. Like you basically force everybody to play. These guys are NBA players. These guys need to play basketball. If you remove LeBron James and Anthony Davis out of the equation, now they don't have those two to rely on. And now you got to figure it out. You just have that figure out game. If the Lakers lose, they lose. You live with it. But hopefully, even if they do lose, hopefully you get a couple guys that kind of get in a rhythm, right? Maybe Reeves steps up and now he's in rhythm and he's gotten out of his funk. And now LeBron and AD come back and Reeves is cooking and D'Lo is cooking. And now you got at least your starters cooking. Again, it's just a thought. Like I said, it might not be the biggest thing. Win or loss really won't matter tomorrow. Today mattered more. Exact. And that's my concern, is that this will be the game that we look back at and go, man, we needed to win that game, because that could be the difference between seeding, right? No, AD needs to play, too young for that. I think the team will play well if Bron sits, but AD needs to play. I wouldn't mind that. That's, to me, if I had to guess, I'd say that's most likely what happens. Nah, bro, that does sound crazy. You can't expect backups to just turn it around against a professional team 24 hours later. It happens all the time. Yes, you can. Absolutely. I mean, look at the Suns. Suns role guys were just blew out Utah. And the Magic aren't even all that good. Sit LeBron. Come on. I mean, they'll probably sit LeBron. Missed free throws killed. I don't know why we can't make free throws. That's something else that was killing us. Like, make it. If we make our free throws, we win this game. If we made half of the free throws that we missed, we win this game. We missed it, win this game. I disagree. Okay. Best case scenario, we beat Orlando, AD, and Braun healthy to beat the Clippers. That's kind of my thought too. It's kind of my thought. Like, let them sit, force everybody to figure it out, and then take it from there. Yeah, exactly. We're a professional team too. As to why Max has fallen out of Ham's rotation, because we don't have Jared Vanderbilt. So Max Christie is kind of, or Cam Reddish is kind of playing that Vando role a little bit. Lakers can't hit free throws. What else? Yeah, but even our good shooters can't. Like, even our good free throw shooters can't make free throws. That's the problem. We were 4 games away from a final last year, and this is how much respect we give the team. Look, I'm not saying that we're – look, Eric, I'm not saying that we're going to – like, that's – I still think the Lakers win 50 to 55 games. Like, this game doesn't persuade me out of thinking that, like, that's it, the sky's falling. I'm not Chicken Little here. I'm talking, like, but this still is an inexcusable game. We can live in the moment, right? Like, we can live in the moment. I'm living in the moment. To me, that was an inexcusable game. I don't think, like, I'm not saying that this means that's it. We're not, like, the season's over. Like, I know a lot of people are going to look at it and go, oh, that's it. Lakers just got eliminated from the playoffs. It's not that serious. But this was a game that we should have won that we lost. Now, I will say I would rather this early in the season than late in the season. So hopefully we kind of figure it out and get work through everything between now and then. So hopefully this was kind of like that blunder early on that we can just kind of chalk up and just say, okay, throw it aside and we can kind of learn from this. That's my hope. But time will tell. We'll see. We will see. Definitely missing Vando. I need that hustle guy that just gets rebounds in defense. Yeah, we do. He would be massive. Reeves needs defense and a haircut. Reeves needs to hit shots. AD needs to play 36 to 38 minutes tomorrow. I also don't want to wear AD down. Man, that's the last thing I want to do is break him out. They're going to trade the whole team. It's not that serious. It's early. It'll all work itself out. I agree, Mike. But it's just this game is frustrating. Relax. We are missing our defensive lieutenant in Vando. Yeah, we'll be much better defensively with him. Vando is the key. Reeves and Rui robbed us. Rui was good this game. He hasn't been the last 2 games, but this game he was good. But Reeves struggled a little bit. Everyone could see it wasn't AR's game. Very disappointed in Ham. Stuck with him for way too long. Agreed. The audacity to put him back in the fourth. Murray shoots over him. I do blame Ham for today. So at the end of the game when they put Reeves in and took out D'Lo, that I didn't hate. Because Reeves is a better defensive guy. He's better at switching. I don't hate that. You were in the stream. I was saying, like, I think that they should put in Cam Reddish just for his size and his length. I would have rather them go with Reddish, but I understand putting in Reeves in. I don't really hate that. But you are 100% right. Darvin Ham stuck with Reeves way too long. Way too long. He didn't have it. It was a bad game. I understand letting him play through it. Like, I defended him earlier in that stream, where I was like, oh, you got to kind of let him play through it. But after 15 minutes of him just being unplayable, it's like, all right, it's time to pull the plug now, right? Like, I just think him playing nearly, what do you play, 28 minutes or something like that? Like, I just think that that's inexcusable. We shot 26 feet on 76.5%, and the Kings 17 foot on 70%, but okay. Oh, that's a response to somebody else. I thought that was to me. Dude, that guy is just – I hate that guy, man. Man. That guy is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He will. He talked about how he was going to do this early on, which is fine. I don't mind him doing that. Lakers will lose without LeBron because they depend on him too much. But that's the problem. You let him, you force them to have to figure it out. The Lakers had to figure it out last year, and they won a couple games. Right? They won a bunch. They won several games without LeBron. Right? Like you put them in a corner and you make them figure it out. I hear on the fact that guys got to hit open shots, but he should have Rui it over Gabe because Fox was cooking whoever. We didn't need two perimeter defenders to guard him. D'Lo and Prince were fine in my opinion. But the problem is that like Keegan Murray, Herter, all the like they were torching us out on the perimeter, right? Like Rui doesn't help with that. Like Rui's not a good perimeter defender. Like that's my problem. Like I understand Rui offensively, maybe he helps offensively, and if he can, keep knocking down the threes, but I just think like Fox is going to kill it. I understand the thought process. Like Fox probably kills us regardless, right? Like so, it's like why does it matter? But I just think that now you just struggle so much more out on the perimeter, which was a problem anyway. Like in hindsight, I can understand the argument, but I think Darvin Ham made the right decision in the moment, right? Like because again, in hindsight, you could always make an argument like, oh, you should have done this, should have done that, right? I think in the moment, I think Darvin Ham made the right decision. The only thing that really drove me crazy today about Ham is the Austin Reeves thing. Like, inexcusable is a perfect description. That's exactly what this was. It was just completely like, all this talk about how good the team is getting to people's heads, man. Look, I still think the Lakers will be fine. It's early on. I'd rather, like I mentioned earlier, I'd rather get this game out of the way now than we're in February and this is becoming a trend. Get it over with now. Learn, take your L, take your lump, and move on. All right, take it in stride. D'Lo was huge in that fourth quarter. Huge in that fourth quarter. D'Lo had 10 points in that fourth quarter, or 8 points or something like that in that fourth quarter. We can also sense sometimes some things that could give us trouble going forward. It's okay to be critical. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with in the moment criticism. There's a difference between criticism and overreaction. You know, um, the team played well without LeBron late last season, right before the playoffs began. Yeah, because they didn't have a choice. They were out without LeBron for 2 months. Let's learn our weaknesses early. Exactly. I'd rather do that now. Figure it out now. Take your lumps early, so that way we can start getting our stride on as the season progresses. Do you think the Lakers should trade D'Lo and Vincent for a third star? It depends on who's available. Anyway, look, I don't mind them keeping D'Lo. I don't mind them keeping Vincent. I don't know if you trade D'Lo and Vincent, just because you do need a point of attack guard, and Vincent is that. Unless you get an Alex Caruso or something like that. I really like the idea of if Chicago blows it up, calling them and go get Caruso, Drummond, and DeRozan. I think that all three of those guys would be realistic. I think all three of those guys would be obtainable. You trade, you trade something like Rui and D'Lo. You go get DeMar. You go get Alex Caruso. So now you got another point of attack, sizable guard that can defend, hit threes. He plays well with LeBron, high IQ guy. You get Andre Drummond for that Jokic Embiid matchups. I don't hate that idea. Again, that's just something I think is a realistic option, right? But I mean, obviously, look, if Kyrie becomes available, yes, you do whatever you have to go trade Kyrie, right? If you have to trade D'Lo, Vincent, and Rui, you go do it. You go get Kyrie because he makes up for so much. We need I know a lot of people wish we would have kept Dennis Schroeder. I don't really mind us not having Dennis Schroeder, because again, he can be very inconsistent at times, and Gabe Vincent is the better shooter, although he hasn't been great shooting the basketball. But you got to imagine at some point he gets to his average. The one thing that we miss desperately about Dennis Schroeder is his ability to apply rim pressure and get to the basket. The fact that we don't have a guard that can do that at speed is a problem, right? Because we don't Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox are just they're at the rim before you know it, right? You see a lot of these great teams. That's why I would love to go get in a perfect world. like obviously Kyrie, but let's say remove Kyrie. Let's say Chicago blows it up. Zach LaVine would be perfect. Like Zach LaVine would solve like almost all of our problems because we'd get somebody that can shoot, right? You get somebody that can, shoot over the top, and you get somebody that can get to the basket and finish at the rim and apply rim pressure. We need somebody like that bad. That's what I miss about Dennis Schroeder because his ability to just create contact and get to the foul line really kind of slows things down. But we still should have won this game. Where were we? The two more offensive rebounds in OT would have dramatically changed this game. Crazy. Agreed. The game was decided in OT, though, and Braun and AD have to bring that win home. The head coach isn't on the floor playing. Exactly, Sam. Rui and Wood needed more minutes. I understand the argument. I just don't know. Again, like, who do you take out? 30-plus minutes for Gabe is ridiculous. Gabe was great on the defense side. Rui played better than AR in one quarter than AR did the whole game. Rui and Prince brought us back in the fourth, which is why I wanted Rui and during OT. I get that. What happened, bro? Gabe must be on the bench. His defense has been fine. It's just he can't hit shots, and we need him to start hitting some shots. Ham got to stop taking players out when they get hot. Oh my god, I think that's enough experimenting. Gabe is a good hustle guy off the bench, like Marcus Smart. But again, like how long are you supposed to keep playing guys? Like you got to get guys rest, right? Like Christian Wood was hot. I get that, but again, at some point you gotta get guys some rest. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Honestly, trade Vincent and Christie for Caruso. I don't want to get rid of Max Christie. I think Max Christie has potential to be very good at some point. But I wouldn't mind getting Caruso. And you gave me another super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Do you really think we should get Kyrie if he becomes available? So I'll answer both your super chats. First off, thank you so much for the super chat. Seriously, I greatly appreciate that. So as far as Alex Caruso goes, yes, I think he would be great. He doesn't solve all of our problems, but I think he would help tremendously just because of his size, his defense, his ability to knock down the open shot. I think would be huge. And he's familiar with playing with LeBron. He played really well off of LeBron, kind of gives you like another Reeves. If Reeves turns it around at some point, then Caruso and Reeves would be great to have. But the two like things that I look out for personally the most, this is just me personally, is Chicago blowing it up because I think Chicago can solve a lot of our issues, a lot. And then the other thing is Kyrie. If Dallas ends up being terrible, then yes, go get Kyrie because Kyrie again solves like all of our. The only thing Kyrie wouldn't solve is needing a big body for like Jokic. Other than that, he solves everything. He solves the over-the-top shooting. He solves the guy that can go and draw contact and create fouls. He solves just applying rim pressure. He solves a guy that can shoot and play off the ball. And he looks really out of sorts in Dallas. And right now, Dallas is squeaking out wins because Luka is just hitting daggers. At some point, that's going to stop, and Dallas is probably going to fall apart. I guess the third thing that I look out for, which again doesn't help everything, but I do think helps a lot, is I really want Indiana to start falling apart and trade Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and then we go make a push and go get him. If we get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, I think that solves a world of stuff because now you actually have a shooter, a volume shooter that could take a lot of pressure off of the Lakers and just open the floor more. And you get that guy in Miles Turner who can defend. You play him alongside Anthony Davis. Also, he's a starting center, so it forces him to play AD and him together. Those are kind of the things that like I have my eye on, so to speak. So, just something to think about. Let's see. Gabe played 30 minutes. Yeah, because we needed him for Fox and what's his name? Monk. One thing that gives me hope is we have played 3 teams that are projected to be the 3 top teams in the stacked West, and we played the damn Clippers after tomorrow. These are tough games. These are very tough games. We are being tested immediately. We have the second toughest schedule in the West this year. The only team that has a tougher schedule than us is the Phoenix Suns. So Phoenix has a really tough schedule too. But yeah, so our schedule is brutal. We got to figure this stuff out sooner rather than later. Like, we have to figure this stuff out ASAP. So hopefully we do. Hopefully that's something that we do. Coming out with another super chat. Thank you so much. Why not trade Rui Reeves and a bunch of picks for Cat? Because the problem is we don't have a bunch of picks. We have the 2029 pick, and then we have the we have like a 2030 or 2031 pick swap. And that's it. A team like the Knicks could just, they have the young players, and they have like getting a guy like that. We have no shot. And that's assuming Cat even becomes available, right? I mean, if you could, then great. I have a question for everybody. Just a thought. I was thinking about this the other day, and again, let me know your thoughts let me know your thoughts in the chat. But let's say Joel Embiid wants out with the Sixers. Would you trade for Joel Embiid if you had to take on Harden? Like, what if you could do Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, and Rui Hachimura for James Harden and Joel Embiid? Would you do it? Let me know down in the chat. Is there a way to do like those, like, I had to talk to my buddy about how to do, because you can do like the live stream polls. I got to talk to my buddy on how to do that, because I know he knows how to do it. But yeah, like just a thought, right? I don't necessarily want Harden by himself, but like if you could take Joel Embiid and James Harden, would you trade AD? I want to see a couple more answers before I tell you my thoughts. No, good question though. No, good question. Hell no, I have James Harden. No, that's a bad thought. Why is it a bad thought, Jesse? I want an honest answer. I'll tell you how I feel about it. But because James Harden and Joel Embiid worked great. It's just, can James Harden buy in? If the Lakers could get James Harden and Embiid duo, they should definitely do that. Okay. So far, the consensus seems to be no. We had a big wave of yes, and then now we got a big wave of no. No. Harden and Embiid didn't. Harden and Embiid did work. Harden and Embiid were great. Like, James Harden led the league in assists last year, averaged 20 and 12. It did absolutely work. No, both of them are notorious playoff chokers. That's my big concern. Harden needs time to ball. That's why it's a bad thought. Yeah, but he's gonna return for the Sixers real soon. So again, it's one of those things. But okay, anyway, let me LeBron and Harden does not work. I actually think it would, because James Harden, so I do think it work. But my thoughts on that, I wouldn't. Primarily because who was it that said the playoff choking? LeBron, AR, Embiid, Vandal, Braun, AR, and Harden. I'm doing that deal. That's kind of my thought, but it's a live stream. Relax. It's not that serious. Okay, we're just handing out talking. Okay, but no, my main thought was just like, okay, like if we could do that, I think it would make us better during the regular season. I think like we'd be really good. I just think in the playoffs, that could be a real problem, because Anthony Davis's defense is so crucial. And then James Harden completely disappears. But if he's like the third option, does he play good? And then the other thing would be Joel Embiid just completely disappearing. Why do you think James and Harden would work? They both need the ball to be effective. Now, James Harden has already proven on numerous occasions he could be effective off the ball. Played with Chris Paul. He played with Russell Westbrook, and great. I mean, he played with Chris Paul. I mean, if it wasn't for Kevin Durant on the Warriors, James Harden probably has an NBA championship. He played off all the time with him. And then in Brooklyn, he played off the ball a lot. I mean, he played on the ball a lot, but he played off the ball a lot too. And LeBron James would let him play on the ball. But anyway, let me got some super chats. Thank you so much. Coming in hot with another $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. Or trade for OG Anunoby and Schroeder. So like I've had other people throw out the idea of like OG Anunoby or Siakam, things like that. One, they wouldn't trade OG Anunoby for Kevin Durant. I don't think there's anything we have that they would trade OG Anunoby for. Like for whatever reason, why am I blanking on his name? Usai Ujiri, just like he just looks at OG Anunoby as like Michael Jordan. I don't know what it is. He will not trade OG Anunoby. They literally could have gotten Kevin Durant if they gave up OG and refused to do it. They supposedly could have gotten Damian Lillard if they would have traded OG Anunoby, and they wouldn't do it. So if they won't trade OG Anunoby for those two guys, they're not trading them for like D'Lo and Reeves or D'Lo and Rui or something like that. It's just not happening. Purple and gold. Coaching was awful. Ham can't coach, in my opinion. Why do you think that? I'll keep an eye on for the. I want to before I give you my thoughts. I want to hear your. I want to hear why do you believe that? Because I disagree, and I'll tell you why. But I want to hear a little more explanation first before, because again, I get this comment all the time of like, Darvin Ham, the coaching is terrible. They suck. Right. But again, I never get a reason why. Right. People always just throw that out there as a scapegoat. But why? Why does what could he have done this game that would have changed this game? I trying to give Purple a second because I want to hear his reasons as to why. And then I'll answer this super chat. Can you defend Wood not getting a single minute in the second half? So, let me put our super chat back up. So is that the only reason you think he's a bad coach? Because if that is, then that's not a big enough argument. Because one, he stuck with the units that actually got us back into the game in the third quarter and then in the fourth quarter, right? I don't hate when so many people, Ham always seems to be in a lose-lose situation. If he takes guys out too early, he should have stuck with the hot hand. But then when he puts a unit out there that runs away with it and actually is in the game, then all of a sudden he's a bad coach and he should have pulled those guys, or he should have kept, swapping guys. Now, did he do some things wrong? Absolutely. He stuck with AR-15 way too long. But does that make him a bad coach? No. It makes him a guy that trusts and believes in AR, who has proven all year last year, had this same type of stretch in the playoffs. Darvin Ham stuck with him, and he still got it together. Like most said, guys missing wide open shots, not the coach's fault. I see so many people blame the head coach. At what point do we blame the players? Right? At what point is it LeBron's fault for taking terrible, ill-advised threes when we're going on a run, or turning the ball over 8 times in key moments, or us not finding Anthony Davis when they go super small, or Austin Reeves going 1 of 8 from 3 and 1 of 12 or 1 of 11 from the field? At what point do we put the blame on the players and not the head coach? Right? Is Darvin Ham the perfect coach? No. But no coach has ever been the perfect coach. Nobody ever makes the right call, right? They're professional players. You're as a head coach, you want to instill confidence. You want to believe in your guys. You want to let them play. Phil Jackson is considered one of the greatest coaches ever, if not the greatest coach ever. Phil Jackson was notorious for leaving guys in like Austin Reeves that were terrible and just would let them figure it out and play through it. I mean, it was a problem at times. Lakers would go on losing streaks with Phil Jackson because he would just let guys play. Shaq has a story about Phil Jackson coming in the locker room and just saying, hey, you know what? Like, clearly you guys don't want to play today. You guys can, clean it up, get back on the plane, and we'll run with like the bench guys and stuff. Or just letting guys play and work it out. Like, a lot of good coaches do what Darvin Ham did, right? Again, I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's Phil Jackson. I'm not saying anything like that. But we're so quick to blame one person. We're so quick to blame just Darvin Ham. At what point do you blame the players? At what point is it the players that need to be held accountable? Just stop playing small guards and I will be happy. We have 3 guards on the roster. And when has he played 3 of them? Like, so many people, like, dude, I even got comments in the live stream for the watch along when the starting unit was D'Lo, Reeves, Prince, LeBron, and AD. And people were like, why is Darvin Ham playing 3-guard lineups? What are you talking about? Taurean Prince is 6'7" and has been a power forward his whole career. Literally, he's played power forward his whole career. Like, Darvin Ham's done a great job of not playing small. I don't know where people keep getting that from. Like, I don't understand where people keep saying, like, oh, Darvin Ham is, playing small and stuff. Like, no, he's not. Like, again, guys got to start hitting shots. Put the blame on the players. Darvin Ham isn't playing the game. He can only do so much. Where do you rank Ham out of all, I'm assuming all the coaches? Problem is we've only had a year sample size. And he went to the Western Conference Finals, outcoached Steve Kerr, outcoached I'm blanking on Memphis's coach. What's his name? It's in my head. I just can't pull it out. But Memphis's coach, right? Like, Darvin Ham was great last season. Here's my problem. People blame Ham for the losses, but he gets no credit for the wins. So if losses are solely on the head coach, then that means all of the wins are on the head coach. If it's not, then what is it? What are we doing here? It's got to be one or the other, right? Either Darvin Ham is responsible for all the losses. Okay, fine. Then he's solely responsible for all the wins. So LeBron closing the game in the fourth quarter in that Suns game had nothing to do with LeBron James. It was all Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham kept LeBron in the game. Darvin Ham, man, he made those shots down the stretch. Darvin Ham deserves the win. So far, Darvin Ham is 1-2. If that's not the case, and we're going to give LeBron credit, and LeBron won that game down the stretch, and LeBron was great, then we need to blame LeBron for every time we got momentum this game, he shot us out of the game. And again, and what was it, the third quarter? We had back-to-back just terrible, ill-advised threes for what? Again, at some point we got to do that. But as far as head coaches, I'd put him top 5. Again, how many head coaches in the NBA right now have gone to the conference finals? How many head coaches in the NBA right now did that in their first year? How many head coaches in the NBA right now had done that with 2 separate teams starting 2-10, having a 0.02% of being in the playoffs, not even getting to the conference finals, right? Like, again, like, he's got to be right now. I don't think you can put him over Pop. I don't think you can put him over Kerr. But outside of that, like, who else? The guy did in one season what coaches who have been in the league for 20 years have never done. So just something to keep in mind. Just a thought. But back to the stream. They were playing very small in OT, which is inexcusable. Inexcusable. He had a better roster than Minnie when last season. What I know you're not talking about last season. If you're talking about this season, he's 3 games in. Literally, he's 3 games in. So how can we judge him accordingly this season? Can't judge him on 3 games. But last season, okay, you got to be trolling. There's no way. Better than most. You realize that Patrick Beverley was the worst offensive player in the league when he was on the Lakers. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. You realize that Thomas Bryant was the worst defensive center in the league. Again, not an opinion, a fact. You realize we were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. You realize we had a roster full of nothing but 6-foot guards. Right? There's no way. There is no way. After the trade, I'm talking about after the trade deadline, they played 8 games together going into the playoffs. 8 games together going into the playoffs. Again, what are you talking about? That makes 0 sense. 0 sense. Kerr, Pop, Spo, Ime, I'm a little on the fence with. I think Darvin Ham's better than Nurse. I think Darvin Ham's better than Monty. I'll give you Ime because he did go to the finals with the Celtics, so I'll give you Ime. Spoelstra, Pop, Carlisle, Ty Lue, Kerr. I've never really been a big fan of Carlisle. I think to me, Carlisle is another Doc Rivers. Great reputation. Always kind of had his struggles with success. Although he did have that 1 year with Dallas. So I got to give him that. He is a championship winning coach. So I'll give you that. But I'm not I think Carlisle is rated a lot higher than he has. He's also underachieved a lot over his career. Ty Lue, I'll give you Ty Lue. I really like Ty Lue as a head coach. So Spoelstra, Pop, Carlisle, Ty Lue, Kerr. So that's 5 coaches. So again, so you're saying that he's what, 6th? So again, I said arguably top 5. I wasn't thinking. I forgot about Lue. But even if you take out Carlisle and you put him in, then yeah, we're still there. But again, just my thoughts. Obviously, everything's objective, but Spoelstra's another great coach known for making adjustments. Yes, but he's even been a guy that sticks around a lot, right? We've seen Spoel just kind of let guys figure it out. He did that a lot with LeBron in Miami. Would just kind of let them play. I think for sure Frank Vogel is a better head coach despite 2021-22. I don't. Look, I think Frank Vogel is a good head coach. I just don't think he is the kind of guy that – I just don't think he's the leader that you need from a great head coach. Frank Vogel is non-confrontational. He's had trouble with players in every place he's gone in because he's non-confrontational. He's just Jason Kidd was huge for that bubble roster. Jason Kidd was the player coach for that roster. Frank Vogel was just kind of the X's and O's guy. Frank Vogel, I think, would be the best assistant coach in the league because he's great with the X's and O's. I just don't think he has the full package as a head coach. Doc, a championship coach. Also, you can start hot having Braun AD on your roster. Many coaches have those 2 top 75 players. Well, he didn't stop hot, but also Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers has more just choke jobs than anybody in NBA history as a head coach. Doc Rivers is more reputation than he is quality head coach. I wish Jay Kidd was our head coach. I like Kidd. But I mean, look at Kidd is so unproven. So here's the thing. He's been a head coach twice and has been terrible. He was great. He's been great as an assistant every time. Every time as an assistant, he's had a lot of success. As a head coach with the Brooklyn Nets, he had a dream roster and was terrible. He's on Dallas now and has been terrible. And I'm not even talking about because Dallas, I think Dallas is a lot of roster issues, but Jason Kidd, every game, I mean, you think Darvin Ham makes a lot of mistakes. Jason Kidd makes some really questionable stuff. Jay Kidd, like Becky Hammond, for real. He just needs the team. I don't think Jay Kidd is a top head coach. I don't think so either. He's been great as an assistant. As a head coach, he's been rough. I also don't like Kidd's relationship with C-Dub. Yeah. Rondo for head coach. Where is he at? I think Rondo could make a good head coach. I'd really love to see Rondo. I'd really love to see Rondo, LeBron, and Chris Paul as like head coaches. I'm biased with J Kidd, though he was one of my favorite players. Oh no, I get it. No, not like again. I think he would be great as an assistant. Again, like I wish he was still on the Lakers. Absolutely. If he was like Darvin Ham's assistant, I think we'd be rough. Like it'd be rough. I retract my statement after what you said. Not terrible in Dallas. He's already been to the Western Conference Finals with a mediocre roster. They had a lot of dominoes fall their way, though. A lot. And Luka was just ridiculous in that series. But I mean, again, I don't think he's awful. I just think he hasn't had the success that he should have had. But he did. It's true. It's a good point. Tyler, I was literally typing that J Kidd would work great as an assistant alongside Ham and this Lakers team. Yeah, he would be just chef kiss. Becky Hammon is a great coach already. I like Becky Hammon too. I think I'm curious to see if some team gives her that opportunity at some point. I think if I'm being honest, I think it'll be a while because you're gonna have to find. The problem with the female head coach is one, it's getting the owner to buy into that, right? And two, it's the players and the respect and I just think it would be tough right now. But I do think that there will be that team that takes the shot and there's going to be so much pressure on that person. I would love for that to be Becky Hammon because I think Becky Hammon would be good under that pressure. And I think if she has success, that'll open the floodgates for many other female head coaches, right? But it's just like anything. You need that one. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of obstacles that are going to have to be jumped over for that to happen. But I hope she gets it. Yeah, the Spurs respected her. Yeah, Spurs were great. But that's also like Pop in the organization. That's what I'm saying. Like if Pop leaves, does the Spurs, even though Pop just got a new extension, but like if Pop eventually leaves, do the Spurs give her an opportunity? Just a question. You got any Laker games this season? Or are you going to any Laker games this season? I'd like to. It's just finding the time. Because I know I don't live in LA anymore. I live in Las Vegas. So I have to drive like 5 hours to get there, which means like I'm not going to drive there and come back. Like I would stay there. So it's just like becomes like a couple day thing. J Kidd, a cool coach though. He's the reason why Giannis is who he is today because when he coached him in Milwaukee. Yeah. So what I'm saying, like he's been a fantastic assistant. He is great as an assistant. The jury's still kind of out with him as far as like a head coach is the thing. But anyway, I'm going to skate out of here. I saw one more thing that I wanted to answer. Maybe I already answered it. Rondo and Paul next UFC. I'd love it. In her first 2 years, yeah. Becky Hammon was a beast. Boss. Maybe I did already answer what I thought I was going to answer. Okay. But anyway, I am probably going to skate on that. Oh, Pop should push for her to be his replacement. I agree. If any organization was going to do it, it's going to be the Spurs, I think. Just because of the relationship. If only Vegas had an NBA team. They're the first two in line. What, 2025, 2026 is when the new TV deal, that's when they're supposed to be happening. But anyway, I'm going to skate on out of here, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow for the watch along stream. I hope to see you all of you there and then see you with the post game stream, all that stuff. You guys are beautiful. Thank you, everyone that gave me super chats. I really appreciate that. Seriously, it goes a long way. I really do appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Anybody that's here, again, appreciate you. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on the way out if you're not subscribed. And join me for all the streams. Appreciate you guys.